Hey gang, I'm Paul with Step Back. Welcome back to our channel. In our previous video, you saw that we demolished the drywall on the back of that kitchen wall. We removed some more cabinets, and we even moved the sink out and hooked it up so the owners could still use it and we could work behind it. But we are tired of demo. We want to start putting this project back together. So today, we're going to install these two pocket doors. Now, a lot of people don't like pocket doors, and usually it's because they don't operate properly. In the last bathroom that we just finished, there were 3 pocket doors in that area of the house. Not a single one of them closed right. There was either a gap at the bottom or a gap at the top when it was closed or open. One of them actually closed by itself when we got there, and we tried to fix it and got most of that out. But today we're going to show you how to install these. We actually have 2 different doors by 2 different manufacturers, and they're in 2 types of construction. We have new construction right here in this pantry we just built. And we have original construction in this wall between the breakfast area and the laundry room. So by the end of this video, we want you to feel super confident in doing your own installation. It doesn't take a lot of tools, so we're going to show you how to get going. This is what your pocket door is going to look like when you get it. Here's the frame that goes in the wall that the pocket door rides in. And under this cardboard is the header with the track that the door rides on. So on this door, we've actually removed the cardboard, and here's the header. And you can see the track inside. So why don't we get our tools and attach this header and get started with this installation. Alrighty gang, we got the frame laying on its back. So in other words, the door is going to come in and out right here. The instructions call this the backboard. That's the board in the back. And this is the header. A couple things about this header. You got to remember, these 2 strips right here, they're going to go over the door when the door is in the open position. And that's where you attach your finished trim work to. You don't want to do it like this, where those 2 strips of wood are going to end up inside the wall. So we're going to install it this way, and we're going to screw it together. They're easier to take out if you have to change something. So we're going to drill a pilot hole on either side here, get the bottom of this flush with the bottom of that board, and screw it together. All right, we got our holes drilled with a 5/32 bit. That's so we won't split this right here. Now it's time to install this header. So perhaps the trickiest part is getting these metal U-shaped channels into that slot that the factory provides just for that purpose. This one's a little bent, so it's a little challenging. There we go. All right, we've got them in the channels right here. Now we just have to screw this together. And remember, the bottom of this board, or the back of that board, has to be flush with this. Cool. All right, let's take this over to our opening and see if it fits. All right, that fits great. Now let's take a minute to talk about this rough opening. On these pocket doors, the rough opening, which is the distance between the face of this stud and the face of this one, is 2 times the width of the door plus 1 3/4 inches. So we had 2 28-inch wide doors, 28 28's 56 plus 1 3/4 inches, 57 3/4 is the distance here. On the height, it's the height of the door plus 4 inches. These doors are 6'8" or 80 inches. So our distance to the bottom of this is 84. And it fits great. All right, our pocket door frame is in the opening. Now here's one thing you got to know. This thickness right here is exactly the same as a 2x4. It's 3.5. So this is basically going to be an extension of your wall. So when you put your sheetrock up, you never know there's a pocket behind there. So what we're going to do is align this board to this line, which represents the outside of that bottom plate. When we pop that line here to build this wall, making sure this and this were in line, that's what we're talking about. So we're going to line this up right there. So you see this metal plate right here? That's how we're going to attach this to the concrete. And of course, if you have a wood floor, you would just fasten it to the wood floor. Now you can mark it with a pencil or a Sharpie and then remove it and drill. But I've got this small bit I'm going to use to mark the slab. And we'll move that out of the way. We're going to switch to a 1/4 inch bit and drill that hole we need for our anchor. All right, we've got our hole drilled in the slab. This is the plastic anchor I like to use. It's not a conical plastic anchor that you would use on drywall. This is made especially for masonry. We'll put a link to these in the description because I love those things. I'm going to drive that in there. We're just using a number 8 by 1 inch screw. I'm going to drive it through this plate into that anchor. Yeah, I'm in. Ready?
Yep.
There we go. All right, the door is fastened to the slab. Now let's show you how we fasten it to the framing. So we've already checked our slab. Our slab is really good. It's level right here. If yours is not, you're going to have to put some shims under here to get this thing level. So now that we know this is level, and we also know that our framing is perfectly plumb because we used our laser to put these studs in. Since we already know that, we can attach this backboard directly to our framing. If your framing is not plumb, you're going to have to use shims here, just like on a standard door installation. But I'm going to start at the bottom, just using some 3-inch screws that we have. I'm going to get it started. Get these flush right here. There we go. And drive that one home. And what about one in the middle? Yeah.
Definitely.
Need one just to pull it over a little, huh?
Yep.
I'll go right above that bumper. Ready? Right there. So our next step is to get this header perfectly level. If it's sloped this way, that door is going to close by itself. And if it's sloped the other way, that door is going to open by itself. And you can see this one, we're a little bit off. It would probably be okay. I'd say we're off less than 1/4, but we're going to fix that. I can just push up on this because remember, we're not connected here. And just using my laser line as a guide, now I'm level. Alrighty guys, so the gap here between the header and our rough framing was actually 3/4 of an inch. We had this little block that's 3/4. So we use that as our shim. Use whatever you need to fill in that gap. And then we use a 3-inch screw, just like we did on the jamb behind me. And we put it right here, through the header, into that block, and into that framing. You can remove these screws holding the track on and replace them with a longer one to attach everything together. But I find that this one at the end works fine. The last thing I want to do, I want to connect all this together right here. It'll make our job trimming this thing out a little easier. So we're going to pre-drill through this piece right here and put a screw through it into this one. So let's get that done so this is all flush and tight. All right, that is a much better connection right there, really solid. That's going to make our finished carpentry job a lot easier. There's one more thing we want to do. The manufacturers recommend that you leave these in place until you put drywall on. So we're going to do that. See how I can just crush that almost like that? Pretty flimsy, but when I add that, it locks it together. So let's put this in, and that'll protect this until we do drywall. Perfect. All right, you ready to tackle that one?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, we did the Marvin door. Now let's do the Johnson door. I've already removed all these staples on this side. I got to tell you, I don't like removing 100,000 staples, but what I do like, look at this wood. Look how much nicer that is.
Wow.
That's like milled on all 4 sides almost. So here's your header. And again, it's just stapled to the frame. So we're going to remove this cardboard, remove all these staples, and put this thing together. Another thing I'm noticing right off the bat is this bracket here. This bracket is going to take the place of that 3-inch screw we used at the top of that other one. We're going to show you that. But let's get this thing prepped for installation. All right, all the staples are pulled, nothing to rip our skin open. So on this Johnson frame, there are 3 metal plates. This one, and this one. This is the top of the door. This one has to come off and gets thrown away. This one's going to stay until after we hang up drywall. Then we'll take it off. This one stays always because that's how we attach the bottom of this frame to the slab, just like we did on the other one. So let's take this top one off and put in our header. All right, this header is a little different design than the one we just did. This one actually fits in between these 2 slats. just like that. So I'm going to pre-drill here, and we're going to screw this together. And again, you could nail it if you want to. Right here, the header goes tight to this backboard. And then we want this flush all the way up right here. Why don't we bring it over here, stand it up, and see how it fits. All right, gang, at the beginning of the video, we told you that this door was made by one manufacturer and this one was made by the other. I didn't think they would be that different. And these two doors and the head casings need to be at the same height. We noticed this track on the Marvin is much heavier and deeper than the track on the Johnson. And check out the trolleys. Look at the difference. This is the Marvin, this is the Johnson. So for the doors to be the same height and for the casing to line up, the bottom of this piece right here and the bottom of this piece on this door need to be the same. So we actually have room right here to move this header down. And we installed it according to the directions, flush at the top. But because we need it right here, we're simply going to remove those screws and lower that header. Let's pull this down and get that done. All right, you can see the laser is just kissing this side of this header, just like it is on this other style door. So we know they're going to line up. But now we need something right here to attach this bracket to. On this Johnson branded door, it comes with this bracket to attach the header to your framing instead of the screw that we used right here. But you can see we have nothing to attach it to here because there's just a big void. So we're actually going to reach pretty deep into our stud pack bag of tricks and show you how we do that. This is 3/4 inch lumber. This is a 3/4 inch channel. I always keep 3/4 inch plywood on a job site. This is scrap from another job. We're going to put it in here, slide it in that channel, and over here on this side, it's going to sit right in here, just like that. Let me screw this off. And now we have all the blocking we'll ever need. We usually do this on pocket doors. If we have a cabinet that's going to go here, a tissue holder, a towel ring, things like that, it gives you solid backing behind a pocket door because we all know how much trouble it is to hang something when there's a pocket door behind it. The next thing I did, I projected the line of our top plate down right here. Our top plate is 3.5 wide, and so is this bracket right here. So if I line up the right-hand edge of this bracket on that pencil line, and I raise it up right there to our laser line, it's perfect. So I'm going to put 2 screws right here. I've got a couple of 3/4 inch ones, and that's going to lock this side in place. And the reason why you use 3/4 on this, you don't want that screw head going through the other side. It'll scratch your door, guaranteed, every time. And that's a terrible feeling, isn't it, Jordan?
Yeah.
All right, let's put this guy in. All right. So now that the header is attached here and here, I just have 2 more screws to attach on this end, and then we're going to attach it to the floor. On this door, we did the floor first, but on this door, we're going to do the floor last because we had to get this header and this header perfectly in line. So let's put those screws in and start drilling into that concrete. This pocket door is now attached to the slab, and again, the header is perfectly level on our laser beam, perfectly in line with this one, so our trim will line up. I'm going to love that. This is plumb both ways. We actually could see the chalk line from the cool guys that built this house like 40 years ago. It's still there. We lined it up on that, and we even put a screw back here into this drywall that we left, into the strapping just to hold it for us. So the last thing we're going to do is put a stud right here. We usually do that first, but we didn't really need to in this case. Now we can just throw that stud in there, screw it here into the top plate and the bottom plate, and this door is almost done. Let's take our measurement for this stud, go outside and cut it, put it in, and this door is almost done. All right, that stud's in place. The pocket door frame is screwed to it, and then we screwed the stud to the sill plate and the top plate. Super strong. On this side, we cut this little cripple. We nailed it to this header, and then we screwed it from the back side into the top plates So this is all tied together right here. Now if you notice, we have a header on this door. It's a 2x4, but it's still a header. But we don't have one on this door. It just worked out that way for us, but let me show you why we needed it here. And that's because we have this screw on this Marvin door through the shim into the framing to attach this edge of the pocket door to our framing. On the Johnson, it comes with this bracket, so we don't need anything above it. We just screwed that right to there, super strong. So I think we're done with framing, bud.
I think so. Well, we always say that, but
there's always something else.
Right.
I think we're done with demo, but next day we're demoing, right? So that's gonna be a wrap on this video. Remember, studpack.com, get yourself a hat. Go find the nearest pocket door to your location. Slam it into that like button for us. Really appreciate that. Get down in the comment section below. Ask us a question. We'd be super happy to answer it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you on the next one.